Number one, we use the passive when we do not know who the agent of the action is. Kita menggunakan pasif ketika kita tidak tahu siapa pelakunya. Atau, when a writer or speaker does not know who did something, the passive is useful. Suppose no one knew or we did not care or we don't want to say who it is. Atau ketika mungkin saja kita tahu pelakunya tetapi tidak ingin mengatakan siapa pelaku sebenarnya. Contohnya, the example, the freezer was left open all night. Kulkasnya dibiarkan terbuka sepanjang malam. In this case, who actually left the freezer open is not important. What is important is that the freezer was left open all night. Or if the agent is known but not significant. Atau ketika pelakunya diketahui sebenarnya tapi dia tidak signifikan. Contoh, my shoes have been repaired. Sepatu saya telah diperbaiki. In this case, it's not important to know who repaired the shoes. The important is that shoes have been repaired. Dalam kalimat ini, kita tidak perlu tahu siapa yang memperbaiki sepatunya. Yang kita perlu tahu adalah bahwa sepatunya telah diperbaiki. Or if the subject of the word is not a very long phrase. Atau ketika kita memasukkan subjeknya atau menyebutkan subjeknya, ini nanti kalimatnya menjadi lebih panjang. Let's see two sentences below. Number one, the way Derek managed the company impressed Tom. Number two, Tom was very impressed. Which one is better? It is to put focus on what the object of the sentence is going through and what's being done with them. Nah, yang perlu kita garis bawahi adalah kita hanya perlu fokus kepada objeknya, apa yang terjadi kepada objeknya. Nah, the one who managed the company is not important at all. Tom was very impressed. It's about him being impressed. We already know who managed the company, so we don't need focus on that. Nah, kita sudah tahu bahwasannya siapa yang mengatur perusahaan Derek. Nah, yang perlu kita tekankan di sini adalah si Tomnya yang terkesan oleh caranya Derek memanage perusahaan, sehingga kita lebih baik menggunakan kalimat yang nomor 2, yaitu Tom was very impressed. Number 2, we frequently use the passive in scientific and technical writing. Kita biasanya menggunakan kalimat pasif ketika kita ingin menulis tentang penulisan ilmiah atau teknis. Rhetorically, passive voice centers the reader's attention on action rather than on the actor. So, speakers or writers may use it to make actor invisible. Nah, secara teoritis, passive voice ini memusatkan perhatian pembaca terhadap action daripada pada pelakunya. Jadi, pembicara atau penulis bisa menggunakan kalimat pasif ini untuk membuat pelakunya tidak terlihat. For the example, the results of the experiment are then analyzed in the laboratory. In this sentence, we don't want to focus on who is doing an action, but on who is perceiving or experiencing the actions. So we focus on the result of the experiment are then analyzed rather than who has analyzed the result. Nah, jadi yang perlu kita garis bawahi di sini adalah tentang the results of experiment are then analyzed daripada siapa yang melakukan analisis. Number 3, we use the passive in historical and geographical text. Kita menggunakan kalimat pasif dalam teks sejarah atau geografi. Why do the passive in historical and geographical text? Kenapa sih kita harus menggunakan pasif di teks sejarah atau geografi? Because it is impossible to make a persuasive argument about the past unless we also know who has participated in that past. Karena ini tidak mungkin untuk membuat alasan yang persuasif tentang apa yang terjadi di masa lampau, kecuali kita tahu benar siapa yang bersangkutan atau siapa yang berpartisipasi terhadap apa yang terjadi pada kejadian di masa lalu. For the example, the English king Charles I was executed in 1949. Who did the executions? We cannot hope to answer this or other historical questions unless we have a clear understanding of the actors involved. Number 4. We often use the passive with modal verbs. What is the modal? Modals are helping verbs that express ability, possibility, duty, or advisability. Particularly we use can, must, or should in passive. Nah, kita sering menggunakan modal verbs dalam kalimat pasif. Nah, apa itu modal? Modal adalah kata yang membantu kata kerja dalam mengekspresikan possibility, kemungkinan, ability, kemampuan, duty, keharusan, atau advisability, saran. Nah, biasanya kita menggunakan modal verbs can, must, or should dalam kalimat pasif. Contohnya, the doors must be kept shut at all times. This sentence expresses an obligation. Mobile phones should be switched off. This sentence expresses an advisability. The answers can be found on page 6. This sentence expresses an ability.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to introduce myself. My name is Nisfatul Amalia and I will continue the explanation from my friend Amrina Roshada in the next section about the voice passive. Okay, passive place by place agent. Number 1, if you want to specify who or what the agent is in passive sentence, you use by after the main verb or the object. Jadi, apabila kita ingin menyebutkan siapa pelakunya dalam kalimat pasif, menggunakan by setelah kata kerja utama atau objek. Example, the trees were blown by the storm. Artinya pohon tumbang karena badai. The next example, number 2. My father was left a fortune by an uncle. Ayahku ditinggalkan oleh papanya. The next, the voice passive number 2. We use the pattern when we want to indicate that the agent is particularly significant or unexpected. Jadi kita bisa menggunakan pola ini ketika ingin mengidentifikasi pelaku yang spesifik atau tidak terduga. Example, the last chocolate was eaten by Josephine, not by Mary. Coklat itu dimakan oleh Josephine, bukan Mary. Fine, thank you. And then the next sentence will be continued by my friend Ahmad.
Okay, and the next is the passive with direct object and indirect object. We see this some sentences have a direct object and indirect object. Nah, di sini kan menjelaskan berapa kalimat dengan direct object yang langsung dan tidak langsung, kalimat yang langsung dan tidak langsung. Marilah kita lihat contoh di bawah ini. Kalimat aktif. They ordered the Nobel Prize for Literature or to Nadine Gordimer. Nah, di atas ini adalah kalimat aktif yang artinya mereka telah menganugerahkan sastra kepada Nadine Gordimer. Nah, ini di kalimat di atas ini adalah kalimat aktif. Nah, kemudian di sini bagaimana cara mengubah kalimat aktif ke kalimat pasif? Nah, caranya yaitu ada dua. Nah, yang pertama yaitu they can start with direct object. Example, first example is the Nobel Prize for Literature was awarded to Nadine Gordimer. So the second is a sweater was knit for Paul by his mom. Nah, so when we want to find the direct object, we ask what or whom or for what or for whom. So in the sentence, what is ordered to Nadine Gordimer? Jadi di kalimat ini apa yang dianugerahkan kepada Nadine? And the answer is the Nobel Prize. So kemudian untuk mengubah kalimat aktif menjadi kalimat pasif cara yang kedua yaitu they can start with the indirect object. Example, Nadine Gordimer was awarded the Nobel Prize for the literature. Second example is Paul was knit a sweater by his mom. When we want to find the indirect object in this sentence, we ask to who, to whom, or for who, or for whom. And
What or for what or for whom. So in this sentence, what is awarded?
in this sentence, so in this sentence, whom was awarded the Nobel Prize? And the answer is Nadine Gordimer.